So as it is 2013, it is customary for me to talk about films which are coming out in 2013, because that's what I do on YouTube. And as it is a video that is talking about films which are coming out in the rest of the year, you can basically expect me not to make any more videos after this one, because that's what I did last year. As with any year, and especially in 2013, there are many big films which are coming out that are trying to fill the gap of series of films which ended last year and the year before. So we have another reboot of Superman, directed by everyone's favourite director, Zack Snyder, who I dislike with a passion. You've also got the new Michael Bay film, because that's always a good thing. But in all seriousness, the only blockbusters I'm really looking forward to are Kick-Ass 2, partly because of how good and surprising the first Kick-Ass was, and also because I've read the sequel to the comic book, Kick-Ass 2, and it is far more un-PC, far more violent, far more wrong, and I just don't see how they're going to get past, if they wanted to do it that way, as in the comic, how they're going to get past an 18 certificate. I'm really excited for Star Trek 2, surprisingly, from someone who doesn't really like the TV show. I absolutely loved the first film. So any film which is based on something I loved to begin with, and then it also stars Benedict Cumberbatch, who I also kind of oddly love, is a good thing. I'm really excited for Warm Bodies because it's a really interesting take on a very tired old formula. Also the book's really good, so really looking forward to Pacific Rim because it's directed by Guillermo del Toro. Let me repeat that. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro. Big film which is coming out this year will be hitting us in summer, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Carey Mulligan, and everyone under the sun. It's The Great Gatsby. The reasons why you should be getting excited for The Great Gatsby is after everything that has been said about the film. The fact that it's directed by Baz Luhrmann, the fact that it's got an odd casting choice of Leonardo DiCaprio, the fact that it's in 3D, the fact that it has a soundtrack by Jay-Z. It's all those reasons to go and see it. And now, because it's my show, we go and talk about obscure films which no one has really heard of or possibly really wants to go and see, but I am interested in it and it's my damn show.
Shit, Negro, that's all you had to say.
One film which I am kind of excited to see and have been excited for a while since it was announced is a film called Mama, starring Jessica Chastain, and it's produced by the one and only my best friend Guillermo del Toro. My most looked forward film, and I'm jumping the gun here, is The Grandmaster. It's the new Wong Kar-wai film. Wong Kar-wai has not made a film since My Blueberry Nights, which he made nearly 7 to 6 years ago, and it was not seen as a particularly great film. I don't mind it, but a lot of critics really hated it. So a return to form is what we're trying to see with The Grandmaster, and it's also about the IP man who was the trainer of Bruce Lee. The only reason I'm looking forward to is because I'm such a massive fan of Wong Kar-wai. We also have the follow-up to The Guard, which is from the brother of the director of Seven Psychopaths and In Bruges, and it also stars Brendan Gleeson this time round. It's called Calvary, and it is about a priest who's genuinely disliked in his village. And I think that's all I really know about it. I also know that the director really doesn't like the fact that everyone calls it cavalry. Quite a few years ago there was a film called Garage, which is one of my favourite British films I think ever made. And the director has 2 films out this year. One is What Richard Did, and the other one is Frank, which genuinely kind of has the same kind of vibe as last year's Seven Psychopaths, and it also stars Michael Fassbender. One of the most controversial films probably to come out in 2013 will be The Dallas Buyers. The Dallas Buyers stars Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto, and has been made sort of annoyingly famous by the fact that Matthew McConaughey has done the Christian Bale thing. He's lost an astounding amount of weight. So you basically saw him in Magic Mike, all muscled up to the bone, basically. He was impressive physically. In The Dallas Buyers, he looks like me. He's that unnaturally skinny. We also have the new movie from Danny Boyle, which is a thriller called Trance, which is kind of topping off a really great time that Danny Boyle has been having in the last year or so with 127 Hours, Slumdog Millionaire, and of course the Olympics opening ceremony. But the thing I'm looking forward to most with Trance is that Danny Boyle made films which were so radical and different, and this seems kind of going back to his roots in terms of Shallow Grave, which I like a lot. We also have the new film from Joanna Hogg, and if you know who Joanna Hogg is, then you're probably my soulmate. Her new film London Project is her follow-up to the rather excellent Archipelago, about a middle-class family who essentially complain. Sounds like something you couldn't relate to, but believe me, it's a really, really smart film. Of course, because it's a Joanna Hogg film, that means that it stars Tom Hiddleston, who starred in Avengers as Loki, so he'll be reprising a very easy role for him to play himself. Middle-class, complaining, moaning, posh. There are many words to say about middle-class and annoying, and most of them will probably revoke my partnership from YouTube, so I'm not going to bother. I've also got the new film from Nicholas Winding Refn, Only God Forgives, which has barely got a story at the moment, because I have no clue what it's about. I know Ryan Gosling plays a kickboxer, I've seen the 30-second trailer, I don't know what it's about, but it's by the director of Drive and Pusher and Bronson and Valhalla Rising, and they're all really interesting and quite good. So I'm excited nonetheless. We also have The Rover, which isn't a film about the dog from the Kevin Bacon adverts. If you're from the UK and you go to the cinema, you get the reference. The Rover is the follow-up from the director of Animal Kingdom, which for my money was one of the very best films of 2011, which no one really remembers anymore. It has a scene-stealing, scene-chewing performance from Jackie Weaver, who of course has been nominated wrongly for Silver Linings Playbook this year at the Oscars, because she has about 2 lines. I can't remember Jackie Weaver in Silver Linings Playbook as much as I really loved the film. We also have the new film from Steven Soderbergh, who brought us 2 films last year, one very good, one really rubbish. But the new film is Side Effects. It's all about the dangers of prescription medication and drugs. So essentially just think of it as Contagion 2. We also have the new film from Edgar Wright, whose last film, Scott Pilgrim, I wasn't the world's biggest fan of, but enjoyed, but nowhere near as much as his previous 2 films, Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead I absolutely love, and Spaced, his TV show, which went only on for 2 series, is my favourite TV show of all time. So for people who say I don't like Edgar Wright, you're wrong. World's End is sort of the 3rd and final feature in the Cornetto trilogy, which was part of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and now this. It's all about 5 friends who go on one last pub crawl that they went on many years ago, and they try and complete it again. As they go through the pub crawl, they find out that actually completing this pub crawl may actually save the world. I wish I could do that every single day, but I can't because my liver would give up. The last film I really only want to talk about this year is Inside Llewellyn Davis, which is the new film from the Coen brothers, which is always a good thing, most of the time. Coen brothers have had a good streak as of late with True Grit, which I absolutely love. They also did A Serious Man, they've also done No Country for Old Men. They also had Burn After Reading somewhere in the middle there, which isn't very good. I am going with their streak continuingly to be great, so I'm really, really excited for the new Coen Brothers film. So as with every year, and I say this every single year to just about every single person at the end of the year, it's the films that aren't on this list that usually end up being my favourite films of the year. So expect none of these to grace that list. It's always the films that surprise me the most that usually have the biggest impact and stay with me for longer. And as with any of my videos, I always find it hard to conclude because I've got nothing else to say. Bye. If Miley Cyrus was cast as Mother Teresa. That's just gonna be interesting to see. If Miley Cyrus got cast in anything good, that would actually be interesting to see.